So for today's video, I do want to speak about Barcelona's defense for next season because ever since I have heard about Mika Faye going to Porto, it did make me think on what Barcelona's defense is going to look like next season. Because to be honest, we just don't know if Mika Faye is ever going to be returning. And I did assume that Faye was going to help Barcelona's first team next season in case any of our center backs do get injured. But that is not going to be the case for sure. It is being strongly considered that Faye will be going to Porto for 15 million euros. Barcelona wants to include a buyback clause in this operation, and there is going to be a meeting scheduled for the next week. Mateo Moreto also claimed that Mikael Faye did not even want to listen to any offers before, but now if a good offer does arrive, it will be considered. And so like I have said, I expected for Faye to go into the first team, not for it to be fully official that Faye was going to be a first team player for sure and that he's never going to see Barcelona Athletic again. I just assumed that his role was going to be about reinforcing the defensive line, not necessarily be a starter. And I wanted Faye to receive 500 to 650 minutes for the next season because Faye has shown prominence. Yes, he has made some errors with Barca Athletic, but that is irrelevant. When you are young, of course you are going to be making errors. But since we are going to go into the next season without Faye, now let's move on towards our center back options. Now, let's get one thing very clear. Jules Kounde will not be a center back option for us next season. He's not a center back. He has had a massive 2024 because he has been playing as a right back. His form is only getting better and better. The way that he has turned this year around has been immense, and we know the reason why Kounde is getting better is because we have seen him prepare physically, and he does have a lot of determination to succeed as a right back. Even Kylian Mbappe said 3 days ago that Jules Kounde is one hell of a leader. This is what he said, and I quote, "Personally, I love the assertive personality Kounde executes. No matter what people think or say, he is him. In the locker room, he has no shame in saying what he has to say. Jules Kounde is a happy guy. Kounde is also very self-aware on what type of character he is, and 3 weeks ago, Kounde wanted to speak about his continuity at Barcelona, and this is what he said. I am one of Barcelona's key players, one of the leaders in the dressing room, and above all, I know that I am a reliable player," meaning that Kounde does see himself as a very reliable right back, which is true because when I saw Kounde perform against Austria yesterday, Kounde looks much more of a right back than ever before. He played 90 minutes in that game, blocked 1 shot, 6 passes into the final third, 2 out of 3 tackles won, 7 clearances, 4 headed clearances, 2 recoveries, 3 out of 6 ground duels won, and 1 out of 1 aerial duels won. His one-touch effectiveness with the ball is also getting better, and every time he is taking charge of playing out from the back, Kounde does amazing. He understands how to take up space, how to progress forward, how to look for the players who are available when he is in a very deep area in the field. He's physically, mentally, and technically ready to be Barcelona's best right back. And like I've said, Kounde has been working hard to do this. It's not his talent that's carrying him right now. Kounde was reportedly training even after the season was over with FC Barcelona because Kounde wanted to prove to the world that he can become a better right back, and he has. So he's not going to be a center back for us next season, which means that with Faye leaving and with Kounde also being our right back, our center back options are minimizing. So now let's move on towards Araujo. Araujo will for sure be at Barcelona next season. Even though he has not shown any signs of extending his contract beyond 2026, it is safe to say that Araujo wants to continue at Barcelona, but the reason why there is no talks is because Araujo is focused in the Copa America. With Xavi Hernandez, he has shown a lot of interest and a lot of confidence in Araujo staying. Xavi had to speak about Ronald Araujo a few months back because many were asking, is Araujo going to be staying or is he going to be leaving? Because teams like Bayern Munich and Manchester United have been offering Barcelona around 95 million euros for the center back, and Xavi Hernandez was there to defend him. And then came Hansi Flick, yet again another coach who has been defending Ronald Araujo. He does have strong interest in the player and he wants him to stay at Barcelona for the upcoming season. Flick has also considered Araujo as a key piece in his project, just like Xavi Hernandez. And so when you have coaches like Xavi or Hansi Flick betting on Araujo, there is no reason for us to say that Araujo has no place at Barcelona next season. Araujo is here to stay, and he will be one of our center backs. He has been seen as a leader in the dressing room and also on the field. And so I'm very much looking forward towards seeing Araujo again. I do expect him to have a very strong Copa America. He is going to be playing against the United States, which is the country that I am from, on July 1st. And I just cannot wait to see what Araujo is going to show. But going back to Barcelona, Hansi Flick is for sure going to be implementing a very high line, and he needs center backs that can cover a lot of ground behind them. Araujo is your best bet, so he will be staying. Mark my words. Moving on towards our next center back option, which is going to be Christensen. Christensen has been one of our best signings in the past 2 years, right next to Gundogan, and mainly because he has been rotating in positions. In the first season, he was our main center back with Araujo. In the second season, he converted into a CDM with Frankie de Jong. They formed a double pivot mainly because because Sergio Busquets left the club in the summer of 2023 and Xavi Hernandez needed to find a solution, and he betted on Andreas Christensen to sit next to Frankie de Jong in the midfield, and it did work. But even though Christensen has been doing amazing as a CDM, he will go back to the center back position, mainly because Hansi Flick is asking for two players, and I believe that Barcelona will sign them, and that is Mikel Merino and Joshua Kimmich, which is of course going to be allowing for Christensen to go back to his main role. And honestly, I do love Christensen as a center back more than a CDM. I mean, we did see him perform great as a CDM last season. He scored a goal against PSG, he scored a goal against Real Madrid, he scored a goal against Girona, so he is a big game player. But his true position is the center back spot, and recently in the Euros, he just had a great game as a center back. A stat came out where it did state that since the start of the Euro in 1980 until today, no player has recorded a 100% pass accurate rate while attempting more than 76 passes in a single Euro match. Today, Andreas Christensen took the record to the next level. Christensen against Slovenia had 99 touches and recorded 89 passes, and all of them were completed. He did not misplace a single pass. Yes, this is a higher success rate than Toni Kroos, who was being praised during the Euro debut. In this game, Christensen was in a back three, and he was between Anderson and Vestergaard, and he did not lose his style whatsoever. He's not the fastest like Ronald Araujo, but he is very technical, and he is so smart in his positioning. And I know that Hansi Flick is looking at this. Now, from a financial standpoint, to get him for free and then to maybe sell him for around 50 to 55 million euros, that is a huge profit for Barcelona, like a huge one. But is it really worth it, right? Is it worth losing a player like him for 50 million euros? I don't think so. So to me, he is going to be one of our center back options. Moving on towards the next one, and that is Cubarsi. Cubarsi recently just signed a contract extension with FC Barcelona, keeping him at the club until June 2027. Last season, Cubarsi made huge progress by earning 20 first-team appearances and being capped twice by the Spanish national team. Unfortunately, he was not called up to the Euros, but Cubarsi will get his chances very soon. So his current contract with Barcelona has a huge buyout clause, which does reflect the club's confidence in his potential. Hansi Flick also views Cubarsi as a very crucial player for his future plans, and especially in the upcoming season. He does recognize his talents, and he believes that he can improve the player once he does work with him. And let me tell you guys, I have always wanted for Pau Cubarsi to get tested in the back line, because there is no way we're going to go into the next season with him being a for-sure starter at the age of 17 years old. No, he has to get tested. Last season, throughout the whole course of 2024, he was not tested whatsoever. I think that next season, Cubarsi needs to be tested, and Hansi Flick does know that, and that is only going to make him improve even more, as he is going to be wanting more minutes. Moving on towards our fourth option as of now in the center back position, and that is Inigo Martinez. Inigo Martinez joined Barcelona on a free transfer from Athletic Club. He did have a very challenging first season because of injuries, but he did make great impacts through the season, appearing in key matches, providing experience in the defense. He played in matches like Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, but again, because of his injuries, it limited his appearances and his impactfulness. As for his future, Hansi Flick does see him as a very important player because Martinez has experience, great defensive capabilities, but this is where my speculation does come in, because I think that if Hansi Flick had the capacity to sign whoever he wanted at Barcelona, Inigo Martinez would not be in the picture. He would be out, and he would be asking for a new center back, and that is where I think Faye does come in. But Barcelona do have other plans. Like, to me, in my opinion, Inigo Martinez is a phenomenal center back, but I just think that Barcelona can get somebody better. There are so many other great center backs that are more athletic and better on the ball. So as of now, I would just say that in reality, Barcelona are counting on three center backs that give us results for the now and for the future. But that's very scary though, because when you talk about the defensive line, you need two center backs. We only have three, which is Araujo, Christensen, and Cubarsi. If Araujo gets injured, and let's just say for example, he's out for the next 5 to 6 games, which is what usually happens, you're really gonna tell me that in the next few games we're gonna have to bet on Cubarsi or Inigo Martinez? Really? Because it's very likely that within those 5 to 6 games, 2 or 3 of them are going to be very difficult, whether it's a Champions League game or a knockout game for the Copa del Rey or a strong La Liga side like Real Madrid. Just one injury from Araujo is going to be destroying Barcelona in the back line. I think that Barcelona are missing a center back that is in their mid-20s, somebody that is not so young but not so old and is a physical monster. And that is where I do want to introduce a player like Bastoni. I don't necessarily know if Bastoni is going to be achievable this summer or in the next summer, but Barcelona are missing somebody like him. He has really been impressing me in the league with Inter Milan and in the Euros. He's a 25-year-old Italian center back who does represent Italy and Inter Milan. He did move to Inter Milan in 2017 after loan spells from Atalanta and Parma, and he became a regular starter immediately at Inter Milan once he did join. Bastoni is very well known for his left-footed play, exceptional passing abilities, his ball control. He's like 6'3", 6'3" or like 6'2". He's an extremely tall center back, and he's also very effective in the air and poses a great goal threat from set pieces, which is the reason why he was amazing for Italy in their debut match. He scored a goal. He was one of them. And his calmness under pressure and well-timed tackles makes him a very reliable defender. Bastoni is that guy. And the reason why he's technically very skilled is because he used to be a fullback and he converted himself into a center back, and he has been amazing ever since. He's been included in numerous lists of highlighting promising young talents, such as UEFA's 50 for the future. He was also recognized as one of the top 25 center backs in the world by 90minute.com. He has a great international career. He won the Euro 2020 with Italy and is now participating in the next Euro, which is the one that we're in right now. Last season with Inter Milan, he made 28 appearances in the Serie A, contributing in 1 goal, maintaining a very solid defensive record. He also played very key roles in Inter Milan's UEFA Champions League and domestic campaigns. He's very consistent and important to the team. Yes, it is true that he is the cornerstone of Inter Milan's defensive project. Inter Milan are very committed to keeping the player, and at the very least until 2028. We have also heard that Bastoni has expressed desire to continue at Inter Milan and to succeed with Milan even more throughout the next few years, but I just believe that Barcelona should do something to convince Bastoni that this could be an option for him, especially with Hansi Flick there, and looking at the amount of great youngsters that they have. Bastoni can really complete our sporting project in the defense. Do I believe that Bastoni could be a player that Barcelona could sign in this upcoming summer? No, I don't think so. They still have other players to sign, like Kimmich, Mikel Merino, Nico Williams. After that, we'll see. I do see him being an option in the next summer, but for this summer, it does look very thin. Like if we don't go for someone like Bastoni or any other center back, Barcelona's center back options are going to look very thin. And so that is all I do have to say for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.